The real estate market in Garrett County is unique not only to the rest of the country, but also to the rest of the state. Today we're going to be talking about residential market trends and what that means for buyers and sellers in the area. Hi, my name is Elizabeth Ware. I'm an agent with Railey Realty, and I grew up around the Deep Creek Lake area. I'm excited to share some local market insights and knowledge, so let's dive in. In Garrett County, we're seeing a median property value around $440,000, but if we look closer at the lakefront areas like McHenry and Swanton, those zip codes are seeing a median value between $750,000 and $815,000 respectively. For new listings in Garrett County, we see some ebb and flow over the last year. However, there's been an overall increase and trend towards higher median list prices and more listings in general, which would indicate a slight shift into a buyer's market. Here we can see the number of new residential listings as well, which has substantially increased since the start of 2025 into the spring, increasing by over double from January into February. Part of this trend may be seasonality, as it is an advantageous time to list in the spring with more visitors coming into the area. We're seeing an uptick in list price here as well with the current on-the-market listings. With list price and inventory increasing, without a substantial increase in buyer activity, we're seeing that buyer's market trend mirrored here as well. The number of sold listings are leveling off, also indicating a buyer's market. It'll be interesting to watch into the summer if we see a seasonal return or if we are approaching a new normal. This graph shows the number of months it would take for the entire available residential market to sell off if no new homes came on the market. While this isn't an incredibly reliable indicator of market trends, this is only slightly elevated from where we were during the peak of the pandemic real estate boom in 2021. So we can see inventory really isn't that high right now, but it generally has been on the upswing from the all-time low of 3.3 months at the end of 2023. Overall, inventory is still up to 230 listings from 185 this time last year. The number of sold properties fluctuates substantially month to month, as does the median selling price, depending on where in the county more properties are being sold. Looking at previous market trends, this is likely just a seasonal dip, especially now that we know there were 37 units sold in March, which is back up in line with this time last year. If we return to the big picture of our active listings and look at the number of days on market, within the last year, it does look like we are slightly elevated. More days on market indicates a buyer's market, though we do expect higher days on market in the Deep Creek Lake area in general. Most of the buyer base are investors from out of town or families seeking second homes who can only get away on the weekends. It takes time to schedule those showings and get the right person to see the right property, but with time, the properties that are priced right are going to sell. For another interesting perspective, we can look at the overall market indicators. In the Garrett County residential market overall, we're still seeing a nice balanced market with strong demand on both sides. If we look at just the lake area, for example, McHenry, we're seeing a shift into a buyer's market, at least for the time being. There aren't as many buyers right now looking in the lake area, and they're willing to wait out the rates, which are constantly shifting. So if you're a buyer thinking about finally purchasing, getting in now to avoid a multiple offer situation is a great idea with higher negotiation power. And if you're a seller thinking about listing, the spring is the perfect time to do just that. The greens are starting to pop in the next couple of months, making listing pictures attractive to potential buyers. And the weather is nicer for more showings and open houses. Thanks so much for tuning into this season's market update. If you're thinking about buying or selling in the Deep Creek Lake area, or if you just have general questions, feel free to reach out using my contact information in the video description below. Again, my name is Elizabeth Ware. I'm with Railey Realty. Make sure to like and subscribe to follow along for more lifestyle and real estate content at Deep Creek Lake.